Okay, solving equations with multiplication and division. Here we have -3 times x. The inverse of multiplying by -3 is dividing by -3. This is how we show it. With the fraction bar underneath each side, divide by -3, divide by -3. Now we solve. So this will leave x alone here. 15 divided by -3 is -5. Circle is -3 times -5 equal to 15. Negative times negative positive. 3 times 5, 15. 15 equals 15. Check. It's a check, not a V. Inverse of multiplying by 4 is dividing by multiplying by the inverse of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. We show that with the fraction bar. Divide by 4, divide by 4. T equals 8. Circle is 4 times 8 equal to 32. 32 equals 32. Check. Now we have P divided by 2. The inverse of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. We show that by putting 2 next to the side in parentheses. So this all cancels out. We get P alone because we have 2 halves P, which is 1P. And then 9 times 2 is 18. Circle is 18 in parentheses divided by 2 equal to 9. 18 divided by 2 is 9, so 9 equals 9, check. Well, now we have y divided by 6. The inverse is multiplying both sides by 6. Show that with parentheses. Y equals -42, circle is -42 divided by 6 equal to -7. -7 equals -7, check. Again, division, so the inverse is multiplication. Show that with a 3 in parentheses on both sides. K is alone now. 3 times 1.5 would be 4.5. Circle is 4.5 or 4 5/10 divided by 3 equal to 1 5/10. 4.5 divided by 3 would be 1 5/10 equals 1 5/10. Check. Divide by -4.5. Divide by -4.5. F equals, positive divided by negative is negative. And then the way I do this in my head is I think 4.5 times 2 is 9. And there's 2 9s and 18. That means my answer will be -4. You can use a calculator as well. Is -4.5 times -4 equal to 18. Negative times negative is positive. And then 4 times 4.5, again, double 4.5 is 9. Double that, so double the doubles times 4 would be 18, which equals 18. Check. Multiply both sides by -12. That's the inverse of dividing by -12. C is now alone. Equals -48. Circle is -48 divided by -12 equal to 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. 48 divided by 12 is 4. 4 equals 4. Check. Divide by 6/10, divide by 6/10. X equals, you might use a calculator, but also notice 6 will go into 54 9 times. And then we just have to think about where the parenthesis would go. Well, if we multiplied 9 by 6/10, we would, let me just show that out. We would get 54, and then we have one place after the decimal, so that would give us 5 4/10. That's one way to think of it. How do you place a decimal? And so, anyway, substitution, 6/10 times 9. Does that equal 5 4/10? I just showed that out. 6 times 9 is 54. We had one place after the decimal, so 5 4/10 equals 5 4/10. Check.
Divide by 4, divide by 4. Remember to show it with that fraction bar. X equals 6, circle. Is 4 times 6 equal to 24? 24 equals 24. Check.
All right, now we just take these words and translate them into math symbols. 4 times a number y is 16. So that means 4y is 16. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Y equals 4, circle is 4 times 4 equal to 16. 16 equals 16, check. X divided by 9 is 2. So I multiply both sides by 9. X equals 18, circle. Is 18 divided by 9 equal to 2? And then I do that out. 18 divided by 9 is 2 equals 2, check. Quotient of X divided by 6 is 8. Times 6 times 6. X equals 48, circle. Is 48 divided by 6 equal to 8? Whoops. I have to go back to copying this down. And then 8 equals 8, check. 28 is 4 times a number X. So we're saying what times 4 is 28? Divide by 4, divide by 4. 7 equals X, circle. Is 28, writing it just the way it was before, equal to 4 times 7. 28 equals 28, check. Hal is 3 times as old as his nephew. Hal is 12 years old. Write a multiplication equation and solve the equation to determine his nephew's age. So we start with Hal is, and Hal is 12. 3 times as old as his nephew. It doesn't tell you what variable to use, so you can use any variable you want. That is just a little mark that shouldn't be there. So 12 equals 3n, or a or x or whatever. Divide by 3, divide by 3. 4 equals n, circle. Is 12 equal to 3 times 4. 12 equals 12, check. So since this was a word problem, we needed to label our answer. So I agree with my solution. I checked that out. Now let me put it back into the whole situation and make sure it makes sense. We had Hal is 3 times as old as his nephew. So if his nephew is 4, then 3 times 4 would be 12. So I checked it with this check, but I also had to kind of make sure that my equation made sense in that situation. So I also check it by putting it back into the equation. And now it's going to be for what? His nephew's age. Well, he's 12 years old, so the nephew is 4 years old.